Hello, my name is Steve Hermann, and I'm the author of Mediumship Mastery, the Ultimate Guide, which is available on Amazon. And I have one of the largest private libraries of books dealing with mediumship, healing, development, religious, and metaphysical studies in the United States. I'm really into the teaching aspect of mediumship, and I'm really focused completely on helping individuals unfold, strengthen, and enhance their mediumistic abilities. So that's the whole purpose of my this YouTube channel of mine and the videos which I'm producing here. And I want to talk a little bit about online courses, online training when it comes to mediumship and when it comes to psychic development, because this is a fairly new phenomenon. You know, if we go back, I can think of, gosh, the last 30, 40 years being involved with mediumistic training and working on things. You know, I've been teaching now mediumship, gosh, it's been over 30 years, been very involved with teaching, besides just working with it. And I can tell you, it used to be, if you want to study mediumship, you'd have to go to a circle. There'd be people all physically sitting as part of a group. And of course, if the circle was taking place a bit far from where you lived, I can think of, before I even had a vehicle, going way back, having to travel to get to a circle, taking hours to get there, and maybe not getting home till like 1 in the morning or later some nights, just because I lacked the transportation and had to rely on public transportation or other people. So of course there has to be that type of dedication there. But when you're doing a course online, you don't have to do that, do you? You can literally, go online to Zoom, Facebook, whatever the platform might be, and connect in, and there's other people participating, and they can be in other time zones, literally. Globally, the distance can be vast, in another continent or country, and then you all meet, and even though you're at a distance, you can connect to the spirit world, and you can bring information through, and you can grow. You can expand your abilities. You can practice bringing through information from the spirit world, and it really is very good in that sense for enhancement of mediumship. And of course, someone who's facilitating it, if they're talking about the mechanics intellectually through their lectures, through the group discussion, you can learn from each other. You can learn from those with more knowledge of you, and educationally, it's just fantastic. I think it's great. And you didn't have to have that if you go back. Now, in the last 2 years or so, I've been involved in teaching quite a few of these online types of courses, and I'm really into it. I mean, it's really wonderful. There are definitely certain advantages to that you wouldn't have had if we go back to mediumship training, 20 years ago or 30 years ago, 35 years ago. But there's also some distinct disadvantages when it comes to online training. Now, one of the big mistakes that people make, and this is a big one, is they somehow equate mediumship with development with the ability to bring through information that's accurate. Well, that's not really what development's about. Yes, I mean, obviously bringing information through accurately, it's a really good thing. But you can be a total novice. I mean, you can have someone just go into a class for a mediumship or a workshop, and under the right types of conditions, they could bring through very specific information. I remember one time it was in Dallas, Texas. This is probably 15 years ago. I was teaching this one workshop, and we had this one young woman, and I was working with her. She brought through first and last name and street address. She'd never done this before at all. Now, is she developed as a medium? No. But her mind was receptive, and when we were working with her mind, that type of information was able to come through. So when you're training online, what you can do, what you can accomplish, just besides the intellectual aspect of learning information while interacting with others who are teaching or fellow participants, what you can really experience or enhance is the strengthening of the attunement. So that's something which can take place. And of course, you can also learn just to become a lot more conversant and able to more comfortably and be able to express the communications, maybe even bring through certain types of information, help your proficiency in that type of sense. But that's not what development is about. Development, part of it has to do, with strengthening the attunement. But it's when you're sitting with a group, sitting in the power, that the spirit helpers, that the specialists in the world of the spirit will work with your chemistry. Now, we have our own chemistry, don't we? And we're not talking just about the physical chemistry. We're talking about the energetic, the vibrations subtly that are around us. And when you have a group of people, when 2 or more are gathered in the name of God, and this is true online as well, you've got a group connecting for a higher purpose, the presence of God is there. And when it comes to spirit communication, and you have a group of people who are physically sitting in the same physical space, what's happening? Well, their energy fields are all completely blending, aren't they? So you have this collective energy. Now, you definitely have a chemistry or energetic connection with people who can be at a distance when you're doing this online, because we know thoughts are things and energy is not limited by physical space or distance. But when they start to work with the chemistry, your physical proximity has a lot to do with what actually takes place with this type of development. So let's just say you have a group of 7 people, because I think 7 is a very good number when you have any type of spirit circle. 7, 8, even 5 people is okay. It's sufficient energies that the spirit world can work with. When you start getting more people, there's more factors that have to be dealt with. The cohesiveness, the more effort has to go in to really creating the harmonious and cohesive situations. And in an ideal circle, people meet at the same time punctually, same time and place each week. And if you have your own space to do the session, well, that residue energy stays there. It builds up week after week. Each time you meet with the spirit world, they work with the individuals and they work with the group as a whole. Now, the development isn't taking place when you're getting information and giving it out. Yeah, there's learning that takes place with that. The development's taking place when you're sitting with that group energy. And when you have a group, there's been a lot of singing, a lot of very powerful vibrations that are created. Those in the spirit world, they blend their energies with you. And I sometimes joke and say you can catch mediumship just like catching some type of disease. Literally catch it from other people. So those who you meditate with, you sit in a circle with, well, if they have certain types of abilities, that energetically can be used by the spirit chemists, by the spirit operators, to bring out similar types of abilities that might be within you as well, to enhance what's there. And it's quite amazing what takes place. Sometimes people will sit in a group for 6 months, 9 months, 8 months, and say just nothing's happening. I'm sitting here. I'm not getting anything. That's not the truth. When you sit, they are working with you, they are connecting with you, and the mediumship starts to develop. The process is where the development actually takes place. Not so much like, oh my gosh, let me impress everyone in the group. I've got all this information coming through and I'm sharing it. I mean, that's all great. We do need to practice being able to bring information through. But what we really need to do is strengthen that connection. We need to allow ourselves to go into deeper, altered states of consciousness. We need to be able to attune ourselves even more fully to those in the spirit. And they're the ones who really make everything happen. But of course, all mediumship training is cooperative. It's teamwork. You're learning to work with them, and they're also learning how to work with you. So they used to call them promiscuous circles, and that would just be people coming and going, lacking consistency, in terms of who's going to be there each week. And it's really important. You have to be persistent with this. You also have to be consistent. In terms of going, meeting with the spirit world, it's completely sacred. It serves a higher purpose, and there needs to be reverence for what takes place. And you bring that reverence with you. Cleanliness of heart and cleanliness of mind, a spiritual vibration that you bring in to that sacred space. And of course, if we're talking about online type of work, you bring that vibration within your mind into that situation. And it's really fantastic, the learning that can take place. The same thing on an in-person type of level. If you have the energy that builds up. Of course, you can't hold hands online. You can learn a lot, but you can't hold hands with the person next to you. You can't interact quite the same way. And energetically, how they're able to actually work with you is a bit different. So there's a lot more to mediumship development than just participating once a week or every now and then or even 5 times a week on online types of groups. Although I definitely encourage that. I think it is a really good thing. But I would say by itself, it would be very, very incomplete in terms of what you might want to get involved within your own development. The other thing is if you're a student in mediumship, study with as many teachers as possible. Read as many books on the subject as possible so you understand the mechanics of how it works. Mediumship is not just about being able to bring through some clairvoyant message. I've got to bring through these messages, and it has to all be evidential and detailed. That's all great. There's all these other phases of mediumship that can unfold, which are pretty amazing. So if you like this video, please like it underneath, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I do a lot of individualized coaching and mentoring, work with people one-on-one, and I teach a lot of courses online as well as in person. If you have questions about mediumship or comments, feel free to get hold of me and ask. I'm really will certainly go out of my way to help you. So may God bless each and every one of you.